Hi and welcome back to Cooking Live with Kristin Omdahl. I am Kristin Omdahl and we're here with my son Marlon and we're going to make dinner right now. If you can join us live, we'd love to have you. And if you have questions for me as I'm making dinner, please feel welcome to ask. Marlon will be reading all the comments as we go along. I have made a recipe for what I'm making for dinner tonight, and you can find the link to that in the video description below. Once we are done with the live stream, I'll also, pause that. Once we're done with the live stream, I'll also update the recipe with any changes we made while we were live tonight and repost that link in the comments. If you're joining us live, please say hello, and I'm going to get started because we're making a bunch of stuff and trying to do it as quickly as possible because Marlon is getting hangry. He says he's a little more than hungry tonight. So I've got the oven preheated to 450 for our pork tenderloin, and I'm going to get my rice started real quick, and then I'll come back over and explain what we're making. But if you have questions, ask them, and Marlon will ask them out loud. All right, we're going to start with the rice. I'm going to get that to a medium-high heat, put a teaspoon of oil in there. I'm using extra virgin coconut oil, and I'll saute my rice for a couple minutes until it turns a little opaque, which will make it a little whiter than what it is right now. So as we're sauteing that, okay, we'll get that started and we will start our marinade for the pork. I'm doing pork tenderloin in a ginger glaze. So I've got pork tenderloins that I've thawed from the freezer and also paper toweled off so that they're dry, sitting, and they've come to room temperature now. I am going to, you can peel off this white membrane on it right here. It's optional. Sometimes I do it, sometimes I don't. Depends on how much time I have. But it's pretty easy to pull off.
I'm here. Hi.
Oh, they hadn't heard your voice yet?
I said say hi to me so I know you're really there. Yeah. What is that, just the extra fat?
No, it's a membrane on the side of it. So it won't cook the same, it wouldn't render down and melt like fat would. It would actually stay there. You might have noticed it on ribs before as well. Yeah. Sometimes it's there.
I didn't know if it was
sometimes they're easy to cut off and sometimes they aren't. Depends on how well you get it started.
I think
mine on camera.
It's a meaty. I mean, it's not really.
It's not fat though, and it's not meat. It just has like a rubber.
The phone down a little bit. Down.
Or if I come this way, is it too high?
It's angling up too high. Try it down a little bit.
That one took
What's on the menu tonight?
We are making pork tenderloin roasted with a homemade ginger glaze. And I'm going to make some rice, steam some broccoli, and then make a really delicious ginger and sesame cucumber salad. Let's see if I can get all that done in 30 minutes. It's possible.
Possible.
It's possible. Okay, so the pork is ready to go. I did discover another kind of chopper for garlic and ginger that is so much better than the one that I was using. Someone suggested that I try this. It has a rocking mechanism, so you can see those holes in the bottom. And so what I'm going to do is rock it back and forth on my cutting board. Let me bring this down so you can see what I'm doing, or maybe this will come forward. No, that won't work either. Hold on a second here. Let's see, is that better, Marlon?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so I'm gonna use a rocking motion on this. Is it great? Okay. So what I'm gonna do first, and it comes with this little sleeve thing, which is amazing for taking the skin off of garlic. So you put it inside the sleeve and you roll it on a dry surface. Can you hear that inside? All that did was take the skin off the garlic. Isn't that amazing? So much quicker than peeling it by hand. And I find that when I'm peeling it by hand, I end up getting some under my fingernails and it just becomes a pain. The one thing that I've noticed though is if there's any moisture underneath the roller, it makes it harder to go. I've got moisture in it, don't I? Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, gotta check the rice. All right, I got moisture in it this time, so that's not gonna work. Oh, it did work actually. Got the skin taken off still, mostly. Just have to peel it back. It's already pulled off the garlic clove itself. But then let me show you how easily this comes off, how easily this crushes in this roller. So you put the garlic down on your board and you take this crusher, garlic crusher, and we're gonna go back and forth on it with a rocking motion. So I'm gonna put a little pressure on it first just to dig those teeth into the garlic clove, and then I go back and forth.
Whoa.
Look at that.
So easy.
Got all of it. There's no leftover bits. It's all inside there. So now I'll grab my second garlic clove. And I'm rolling right over the garlic clove and I'm getting all of the garlic. And it's safer than using that grater that I was using the other day.
Amazon shop?
Yes, this is in my Amazon shop. Everything that I'll be using tonight is in my Amazon shop. So what's even more awesome is not only is this now my favorite garlic press, but I wanted to show you that it also works for ginger, which can also be difficult. Okay, our rice has some white. It's turned a little whiter. It has a nice toasty popcorn smell. So now I can grab some water. Where's my measuring cup? I just saw it. There's one. And I add just shy of double the amount of water that I have in rice. So I've got 2 cups of rice in there. So I'll add about 3.5 cups of water. As soon as I see it bubble just a smidge, I will reduce the heat and then put the lid on. We're almost there. Give that 1 second. So I'll come back to the ginger now. And I'm getting all of my ingredients prepped for the pork that needs to get into the oven. So I've got my oven preheated to 450 degrees, and I'm now going to peel the skin off of the ginger. If you can use the back of a spoon to be more efficient about this, but I'm going to tell you why I don't like being efficient about peeling the skin off the ginger. And that is because I steep ginger tea from the leftover bits. So I made some earlier today. So I'll take these leftover pieces that have a little bit of ginger mixed in with the skin, and I'll save them for later to make some ginger tea.
What kind of rice?
Jasmine rice. So I cut my ginger into pieces around the size of those garlic cloves. I found that that's pretty much the sweet spot of the size that you need for crushing the ginger. 1 second, let me grab my rice. Okay, give it a stir, put a lid on it, and reduce the heat to low, and I'll set my timer for 15 minutes. Okay, now we'll get moving on our marinade here. We've got our little cubes of ginger, and I'm going to put it right underneath the chopper, roll it back and forth. You're not going to believe this. I'm going to make it all the way through. There's going to be none of those strings. It all goes all the way through. And what's really cool too is that all the juice is here on the board. I would love to hang on to that juice for something as well. So you can see all of the ginger made it through the press. We've just got a little bit on the back side. You could either re-chop that if it's too big. I find that just by shaving it off of there, it becomes minced just like the rest of it. And if you weren't able to press yours all the way through, you could always save it for tea as well. All right, so we're ready to start the marinade. Now, I would recommend doing the marinade in advance, but because we're trying to do everything all together on the show, if you were going to do it in advance, you'd save some for another dish. Like I may take some of my marinade tonight and save it for another set of pork tenderloin or another set of chicken in the freezer that I'll pull out and thaw and use this on. So we've got garlic. So add our garlic and our ginger. We're going to add some low sodium soy sauce.
Do you ever cook with basmati rice?
I have. You don't like it as nearly as much as Jasmine, so I just go by what my family likes. I'm going to take the topper out of here for easier pouring. Start with a half cup of low sodium soy sauce. And I'm going to do a 1/4 cup of rice wine vinegar. I do not buy it seasoned. When it comes seasoned, that means they've already added salt and sugar to it, and I like to control how much salt and sugar goes into our food, so I don't buy it seasoned. I'm going to add a tablespoon of honey, a couple drops of sesame oil.
That's the stuff.
Sesame oil is extremely potent, and you don't need a lot, so a couple of drops will go a long way. And whisk all of this together.
That's like the perfect dumpling sauce.
I know. I'm going to let you taste it before I put it on the pork too. Got to whisk it a little bit because the honey needs to get incorporated in with the liquid ingredients. Okay, you may taste that while I finish chopping our green items for the marinade. You can come over, or if you can reach it.
I don't want to get on the computer.
Okay, then I'll start by chopping up some of our green onions. Or not start, go on chopping our green onions. Tell me if you think that's sweet, tangy. If you want it to be spicy, we could add a couple drops of sriracha. Is it good like that?
That's fine.
It's fire. Okay, that means it's good. So I took 4 green onions and I'm going to chop those. I'm not using the whole bunch because we're going to use those again for our cucumber salad. So we'll toss the 4 green onions chopped in there. Take half of our bunch of cilantro and chop that as well. We'll mix all of that together now. Grab our baking dish. Put our pork in the baking dish. And pour the sauce over the pork. Now, if we had a little more time and you made this sauce in advance, you could definitely marinate the meat first. I'm trying to do all of this to show you how you can do it in real time, but if you did want to plan ahead, you could definitely do that instead. Now that I've touched the spoon to the pork, you can't touch the marinade anymore. Sorry, honey. But we will be making a second batch of all of this for the broccoli and the salad, so you'll get to try it again. But we'll have to wash these too. I learned that the hard way many years ago. Okay, we're at 9 minutes. This is going to need about 15 minutes. We want the pork to come to about 145 degrees of an internal temperature. So at 10 minutes, I'll start checking the temperature, but it's probably going to take around 15 to 20 minutes to cook total. And now we can get started. Oh, we should pull the broccoli out. You still want broccoli, right?
If you chop that
Or are you fine with just rice?
If you chop it up, yeah.
Yeah, I will. I buy broccoli frozen. I can get organic broccoli florets at Costco for a pretty good price. And if I keep it frozen in the freezer, then I've got it ready on hand any night that I want it. And this can be steamed in the microwave as is in the bag in about 7 minutes, 6-7 minutes. So I'll do that while I'm working on another part of our meal. Start with 6. And what we'll end up doing is chopping it with that amazing salad chopper. Where did I put it? I just had it. There it is. You know that amazing salad chopper that I use a lot? Well, I end up using that for broccoli as well. Marlon will eat broccoli if it's small enough. So if I cut it up small enough and get a great sauce on it, then it goes down quicker, I guess. Are you watching your phone or are you watching the?
I'm watching.
Okay. Just checking. All right, next we're going to slice up our cucumbers. And I got another handy little tool for that. You can slice them by hand, obviously, but to get nice, perfect slices, I like to pull out a little mandolin, which is a fancy word for a slicer. We've got extra knives on one side if you want to do long strips, but then if you do the flat side, it can be thick or thin slices. And for this particular salad, I like thin slices. So I'll put my thin attachment in there. Let's see. Okay, and then we'll start. So maybe get another board out. Put this on a board, and we'll get it in and then we'll get it in a bowl. Okay, so we'll start doing them on an angle. Once it gets shorter, I can use the tool that protects your fingers, but when it's still really long, I don't think it's a problem. The thing that does get in the way is if once these slices build up underneath, they end up putting too much pressure on the slicer and you can't get through anymore. So I'll start moving these to our bowl as we go. And we're gonna get a decent sized salad with 1 cucumber. If you were cooking for more people, you could add more cucumber, but we'll be fine with 1. And the thinner you slice it, the more it looks like anyway. Okay, at that point, if you wanted to go further, whoops, I would definitely use this tool. This one, you can stab into it and then you can slice further without hurting your hand. But since I dropped mine on the floor now, I'm just going to pass on that. We've got plenty of cucumbers here. You can see those are all perfectly sliced, nice and thin. And now we'll start our dressing for the salad. And at some point, we're going to split this off so that it can be part for the, let me think here for a second. We're gonna need another bowl. Still no questions, sweetheart?
No.
Wow, okay. Well, I'm happy to answer any questions if anything comes up, everyone. All right, we're gonna try. You laughing at me again? Hey, I'm just glad my 17-year-old sits in the same room with me. If he has to laugh at me from time to time, things could be worse, right? All right, my roller thing is still wet somehow, so I'm not able to roll the skin off tonight, so we'll try that. We'll try that again another night. I'm gonna crush another clove of garlic for the salad and the broccoli sauce. And so I'm gonna use my rolling chopper again. Give it a little push down first to get those teeth into it and then start rolling back and forth and crush that garlic clove up perfectly. Without my fingers going anywhere near anything sharp. And what I like about this better than a traditional garlic press is there's nothing left over. Everything gets used. So I've got that garlic clove crushed, put it into this bowl, and then we'll grab some of our previously chopped ginger. So if you were measuring, it's about a teaspoon of each. We're going to add a little bit of, about a teaspoon of honey. And we'll add a 1/4 cup of vinegar. That's rice wine vinegar. And we'll add a couple drops of sesame oil. I think that was about 6.
Sorry, I can't trade places with you. I gotta be the first one to eat it.
You love this dressing. Rice wine vinegar, sesame oil, little garlic, little ginger, and a little honey. I don't always add honey, but I find that the honey a little bit of sweetness just takes some of the bite off of the tang of the vinegar. They go really well together. You don't have to put it in there. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. Okay, now we're not adding soy sauce at this point, so we could adjust for seasoning. Do you want to taste it?
Sure. What's in it again?
I could use some salt. It's rice wine vinegar, sesame oil, garlic, and ginger.
Yeah. It just caught me by surprise.
Well, it is going to go on other stuff still,
Yeah.
but yeah, I get it. Add a little bit of honey, so I'll add a little salt.
I think it's just because it was on its own. Oops, sorry.
Yeah, it's just because it's on its own. We'll add a little pepper, which isn't necessarily traditional, but it's something that we like. Ooh, broccoli's ready. Okay, so what I do with the broccoli, thank you, honey, is I try to get it out of the bag right away because I want that steam to escape and to dry up the broccoli. I don't like it to be super wet. So we'll let that cool off for a couple minutes while we're working on everything else. And as that steam escapes, it'll end up drying off and not being soggy, which is what I really like about making broccoli this way. All right, back to our sauce. We're going to chop up some cilantro now. The other half of the bunch of cilantro, did one piece go?
Your neck. You missed it.
I
Right
got
there. It just went.
I know. So the other half of the cilantro we use the first half on the pork ginger glaze that's in the oven, roasting with our pork.
Oh yeah, I definitely want to cook one of these nights. Yeah, I'm gonna cook one time.
Ooh, that'll be fun, yeah.
And then she mentioned she wanted to switch places with me. I was like, nah.
Oh, they want to see you cook.
I'll cook.
All right, let's plan a dish for you to cook.
Let's take a vote. Let's see who wants to see you cook more, me or you.
Probably you.
I will.
Or maybe we could cook together on this side.
I'll be your sous chef.
Yeah, that would be fun too. So put the cilantro in our bowl. I think we'll add 3 green onions. Yeah, 2's fine. 2's fine.
That's actually a good idea.
It'd be fun to cook together.
Yeah, show my skills. What do you guys think? You think we should do one cook together? Should we cook together? Well, what would I?
How are we going to answer questions? We might have to call somebody on speakerphone and have them read questions out loud to us. That might work. Or get someone to sit here with us.
What would I make?
What would you want to make? What do you like to make?
I would make my famous best in Naples shrimp scampi. Yeah, I'm a master.
All right, I can smell something cooking over here. All right,
And I clean up the kitchen. Just a clarification right there. I clean up.
May I interrupt you for a moment to talk about the meal again?
Yeah.
Okay, great.
I'm stealing your show.
No, you're not stealing my show, but you said that I talk over you a bit, so I want to make sure that I don't do that tonight.
Yeah.
I'm trying to be friendlier. Okay. So we're going to check the temperature on our meat, which does not look cooked. Nope. We're at 90 degrees, so we'll throw those back in the oven. Ooh! That was hot. Okay, so we'll put that in for 10 more minutes. Take the rice off the heat. Oh, that's not done either. You know what, I probably didn't let it come to a complete simmer. Sometimes if I rush my rice along too much at the beginning stages and I don't let it come to a complete simmer before I turn the heat down and put the lid on, which I am totally guilty of doing, it doesn't cook all the way right away. So,
Yeah.
What?
No, I'm just thinking about what I want to make. Cause like,
Good, I'm glad you're
I think shrimp
excited.
scampi's good, but I have some other ideas and I just can't remember.
Okay, I realize that I'm gonna need a little more of my dressing, so I'm adding a little more of all of my ingredients so that I have enough to spread over the broccoli and the cucumbers. And if the cucumbers get a chance to sit and soak in the liquid, that's even better. So we'll pour half of this over the cucumbers.
Can I try it?
Mm-hmm.
Once you,
Yep. And then we'll reserve half of it for the broccoli. But before we put it on the broccoli, I'm going to add a splash of soy sauce to that one. And even before we do that, I like to put sesame seeds on the cucumber salad. So we'll add about a teaspoon of black sesame seeds. You could do the light colored sesame seeds as well, but the contrast of the black sesame seeds is so pretty on the cucumbers. See if we can get
when you
that
steam the
picture.
broccoli in the microwave, did you not change the timer you set for the oven?
No, I didn't have to. The timer works separately from the
You can
microwave.
just
It's really
calculate,
great.
yeah.
So I'm taking the second half of our dressing and pouring it right over the broccoli. This has rice wine vinegar and sesame oil, garlic, ginger, cilantro, green onions, and a little bit of honey. And I'm gonna take my chopper now and chop this up. I could have chopped the broccoli first, but because I kind of did a rough chop on my cilantro and, oh, is this the wrong bowl? This is the bowl that's not strong enough for
Oh yeah. Don't
the
want that.
chopper. So I've learned the hard way that some of my plastic bowls are not strong enough for my chopper, which is fine. You learn things as you go, right? My dark blue ones are fine, but the light blue one isn't. So I'm gonna transfer the broccoli and stuff here and then start chopping. So you gonna plan a whole meal with your shrimp scampi, or
What?
you gonna do a whole meal or just the one dish?
I'm thinking.
And what about dessert? People keep asking about dessert. Do you want to do a dessert on your day?
I'm thinking. Yeah. Let's.
Oh, you know what else you're gonna like in here?
What?
You like it when we add
Are you thinking what I'm thinking?
sweet chili sauce.
Yes. There we go.
So we'll add just a splash of low sodium soy sauce,
That.
and then this sweet chili sauce is
Just for you
his
guys
favorite.
to know, that sauce is unreal on everything.
It's available at every grocery
so
store.
good. Rice, fish. I mean, even chicken. I love it on chicken when I do
Yeah.
my chicken bowls. Delicious.
Mhm.
Chicken, rice, and cheese. Oh.
Okay, could use a little more chopping. Did you try the cucumbers?
No.
Oh, go ahead and try the cucumbers.
Figure out a fork.
No, just grab a cucumber off the top. This is just tonight's dinner. We won't be saving that at all. And try the broccoli.
That didn't taste like broccoli. Perfect.
That's a good thing when he says that. He's not a huge
Yeah, 'cause if I
fan
taste
of
the
green
broccoli-
vegetables.
I can't do it.
Yeah. So for him to say that's so good it doesn't taste like broccoli is a good thing.
I'm a
If-
baby with my veggies.
If you already like broccoli, then that's not necessarily the lure for you.
Do you need this or no?
Nope, I don't need any of those bowls. I just would like you to watch the comments though for
Yeah.
now.
There wasn't any questions.
Okay.
So.
Yeah, the silver ones go separate.
Yeah.
You can scroll back.
What's the brand name?
Of the chili sauce.
Yeah.
Red Hot. It's Frank's Red Hot chili sauce, so you can find it down the ketchup and mustard aisle, the condiment aisle at the grocery
I
store.
think Annie's on here.
Is she?
Hey Marlon and Auntie Chrissy. It's Katrina Curtis, but Auntie.
Hi, Ani. Hi, Ani and Trina. That's my...
Did you show them the bottle? The
Huh?
chili sauce? Did you show them the chili sauce?
I showed the chili sauce.
Do it one more
Yes, Frank's Red Hot chili sauce.
On
Sweet chili sauce. You can find this in any grocery store where they sell condiments like ketchup and mustard and things like that. And right next to hot sauce, being Frank's Red Hot, they put it right next to their buffalo sauce and things like that. If you're going to shop in the grocery store and not on Amazon, sometimes specialty items are easier to find on Amazon, but sometimes in the grocery store you can find these on the international aisle. That would be the sesame oil, low sodium soy sauce, that's pretty easy to find. Rice wine vinegar, and here are the black sesame seeds that I used. Everything else is pretty standard that we use tonight, and then what?
Annie said hi, dorks.
Well, that's typical of a teenager talking to another
Ani,
teenager,
yeah, it's
and
Ani
family
too,
talking
yeah.
to family, so okay. All right. Okay, we can check the meat again.
Somebody just put LOL dorks family, gotta love them. Yep.
Yep. All right, we're still only to 108 degrees.
Sounds
So
good.
put these back. Definitely taking longer than I thought, but I think I started a little later than I wanted to as well. What are we at? We're at 32 minutes.
Have another cucumber.
Yes, go ahead, have a bowl of them if you want.
Nah, I'll just have another one.
Yum.
We gotta save some room for dinner.
That's okay. I'm starving too. What are you looking for?
I don't know. Food?
So eat the cucumbers and go back and watch the comments so you can see.
Are no questions? I see everything.
There could be questions. There could be.
Nope. See, I told you.
Doesn't mean that something didn't come up while you were over here.
I have that,
Oh.
that gift, you know?
Oh, that's right. You
Yeah.
have that 17-year-old
Yeah.
psych back in your head thing.
Yeah. I got
okay.
that psychic ability, you know? Yeah.
All right.
Y'all know, yeah.
Okay, so all of the gadgets that I used tonight you can find in my Amazon shop. There's a link to them in the video description below. Or you can go to amazon.com/shop/Kristin Omdahl, and then you can find this mandolin that comes with the 4 different types of slicers. You can find the rolling garlic press that comes with a cleaner tool and with the roll for peeling off the garlic. And what we've discovered tonight is this, not only was this amazing for garlic, where it was able to press all of the garlic through without leaving bits on the opposite end, without cutting my fingers, but it also was incredibly effective for ginger as well. So might be right up there with one of my favorite tools right now. That was pretty amazing. What else did we use tonight? Oh,
Did you show them
the meat thermometer. This is one of my favorite things to keep in the kitchen. This particular one comes on a magnet, so I can leave it on my fridge right next to my oven, so it's always handy.
What's the difference between jasmine rice and regular rice?
I think jasmine rice comes from Thailand. It has a bit of a fragrance to it. I feel like it has a lighter flavor, almost a floral flavor to it. It has a slight floral flavor to it. And it's just really light tasting. I have read that it has more natural sugar in it than other rices, and I don't know if that's true or not.
I like how it tastes good.
rice is done.
What
If you're
about the meat?
starving, do you want to start with rice and
No, I'll
broccoli?
just
You want to
wait.
wait?
Yeah.
Okay. Then
How long's the meat got?
the meat's got a little ways to go. Let me start. I'm gonna put the broiler on, see if I can speed it up. I know. It's taking longer than I thought.
Wait,
I know. Sorry.
when?
If anybody has any questions, though, please feel welcome to ask them because if I can help you with anything, be more than happy to. And I'll just start cleaning up. What? As long as you can read the comments, I'm going to start cleaning up. Is that all right?
That's fine with me.
That means you don't get asked to do it later. You know me, I can't sit still.
Yeah, that's true. Should we tell about how good Dr. Sleep was and how we should recommend people to go see it?
Well, not everybody likes horror movies, but you
Yeah,
can.
that's
You can tell people.
Nah, that's
You can
all
tell
good.
people what movies you like.
Nah, it's all good.
We loved Dr. Sleep.
That was unreal.
Mm-hmm. You can tell them what it's based on, the story behind.
The Shining.
Yep.
Sequel to The Shining.
What do you want to go see next?
Ford versus Ferrari.
Yeah,
That looked. I love Christian Bale and Matt Damon. They're
Yeah.
so good.
me too. I think that one looks great.
Yeah. I mean, I fell in love with Matt Damon from Will Hunting.
Mm-hmm.
What are you cooking?
We're doing roasted pork tenderloin in a ginger glaze.
Oh wait, what meat are you cooking?
Oh,
Sorry.
pork tenderloin. It's, you know, the skinnier piece of pork roast. It is the tenderloin, obviously, and just super lean and very, very tender. I have my oven set for 450 degrees, and I expected it to be done in 15 minutes, but it was not. And thank God I have my meat thermometer because I'm able to test the temperature of the interior of the meat as we go to make sure that it gets cooked properly. At the end of 15 minutes, I think, I bumped the temperature to broil to see if I could get it cooking a little faster. So we'll check on that.
So for me, I have a perfect pitch on the piano, so I can hear anything and not know how to play it, and I can just start playing it like immediately. I mean, you've seen it because they're asking if I play an instrument. And
Yep.
I mean, I have the perfect pitch, which is very awesome and rare. But yeah, so I can listen to whatever and just start playing it automatically. So that's how I get my music done pretty quick. Because melodies are very, very important. That's what makes your beat come together. So yeah, I used to play electric guitar though when I was younger, but I never really stuck with it. But yeah, that's what I've done so far.
Okay, we're about five degrees off. I'm going to put it on the top shelf under the broiler so we get a nice brown, golden brown crust to it, and we should be less than 3 minutes now. I'm going to hang on to this because I want to save all that ginger to make some tea. I'll start putting these away.
Somebody's asking us how much they want to hire us for a party. I do music and you do the food.
Oh God, I used to do that before you
Really?
were born. Yeah, when I was in my 20s, I got hired to do the cooking. In fact, I did it in my 40s. I've done it on and off over the years where friends have hired me to do the cooking at their parties, especially when they need cooking for a crowd. I've done cooking for 20, 30, 40.
And yeah, I do play piano because of my perfect pitch, which is really cool. So I just learned all the major and minor scales.
And I taught you.
Yeah,
I've been
on
playing
the-
piano since
on
I
the
was 8, and
piano.
I've taught him some.
But I don't need to read sheet music, which is pretty cool.
No, that's what I do.
Yeah, I just listen and I play. So, yeah, I play a bit of piano. Yes, Eli is a very good movie. I saw that as well. It's on Netflix. Yeah.
How's that look?
Oh, it's unreal.
Does it look
It
good?
is a very good movie. I would recommend
We are
that.
done. Oh, and I'm going to grab another cutting board so that we can carve one of these.
But yeah, if anybody's interested in like a horror movie, I would go see Doctor Sleep. That was unreal. If you've seen The Shining, you kind of have to watch The Shining to.
I think you could see it if you
Well,
hadn't seen The
to
Shining.
understand some of the like the important scenes. Yeah, I mean,
Well, they do a lot of talking about the old movie too, which I thought was interesting.
oh, this is a good idea. Somebody said we should, as we're sitting down eating, we do a Q&A.
Yeah, please.
Yeah.
Ask us anything.
We
Okay,
can do that.
in a perfect world, we would sit here and wait for this to rest. I guess I could let it rest for at least the couple of minutes that I plate the rest of your dish. So I'll move this one out of the way, grab some plates. So we'll start with some rice. How much rice do you want tonight? Half
Since
cup
I've already
or-
worked out half a cup, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't want to overdo it. Have too much sitting in my system.
Okay, so about like that?
Mhm.
Is that good?
Fun fact, if you all didn't know, with protein, which is really cool, with carbs, obviously it kind of stays in your system for a while. It kind of just sits there if you eat an excessive amount. With protein, you can eat as much protein as you want, and it'll never stay in your system for so long. It always comes out. So
You'll
which
end
is
up
very-
passing it through
Yeah,
instead.
exactly. Which is cool because it's not an energy source. So that's a cool thing to know. But yeah.
Okay, so we've got our broccoli with our gorgeous ginger marinade on there, our cucumber, sesame, ginger salad, and some steamed jasmine rice.
Do you think your piano skills help with knitting and vice versa, both handcrafts in different ways?
I think the hand-eye coordination certainly must help somewhat. I do. I do. At least for learning new things. Okay, so we're gonna cut this thin slices against the grain. I prefer a serrated knife when I'm cutting meat.
I want to try some
It looks so juicy, doesn't it?
Lido. I'm a savage. I can just grab it. Take a bite out.
So this one went to about 145 degrees, and it is super duper juicy on the inside. No pink whatsoever, but super juicy.
Music is the best thing you can do to help prevent Alzheimer's.
I've heard that as well.
Interesting.
Okay,
Wonder
you
why.
want to taste?
Hell yeah.
Oh, let me just make you a plate. Never mind. I can just make you a plate.
Alright, well,
Here. Oh, you gotta come over here though.
I'm right here.
Here you go.
Maybe we should do some. Could we do sweet chili with the pork as well?
Yeah, we'll grab some if you want.
Alright, cool. Is it in here?
Yep.
Right in front of
Make my
face.
plate. Oh, I'm gonna need to come over here and grab all of this. Oh, that's too much rice for me. Ah, oh well.
There we go.
I don't have to eat all of it.
Alright.
I can eat all of those cucumbers though. I love sesame cucumber salad.
Shall we dive in?
Yes, please. Dive in. Tell me what you think. Do you have a knife?
Oh yeah,
You do?
I'm ready.
Okay. I'm gonna get myself some meat. How many minutes are we? Here's
44.
44. Okay. So let's try it first and then I'll talk about the timing.
So good. I love this dish.
Mmm. I love this cucumber salad. The rice wine vinegar and the sesame oil
I just feel
is
like I'm eating
so
broccoli.
delicious. And then I just love the look of the sesame seeds on there and all those bright flavors like the cilantro and the green onion just go so well with the cucumber. Very similar sauce to the broccoli. I like mixing my rice with the broccoli.
It's messing with my head that I'm eating broccoli.
And I'm dancing a victory dance in my head that my baby's eating broccoli.
Baby.
Yeah.
I'm almost a man.
When you were little, do you remember when I used to, and you love dinosaurs? I used to think that I could get you to eat broccoli if I told you it was trees. You're like, no, Mom, I'm a predator dinosaur. Predators don't eat.
Carnivore.
Or I'm a carnivore. Carnivores don't eat broccoli. I was like, dang, I thought for sure I had it. How's the pork?
Really good. How much broccoli did you put on here?
So juicy. About half a cup.
This is a hit.
That pork is so juicy. Okay, so we ended up doing this in about 42 minutes, but here's where I would suggest that you change things up a little bit so you could shave your time down. You can make this marinade a day or two in advance. You could make it up to 3 days in advance and let it sit in the fridge. You could be marinating your meat overnight so that once that oven preheated, you would be ready to throw it in the oven right away. We waited, our oven was preheated, but we made the marinade on camera, so we didn't get the pork in the oven till about 15 minutes into the video. So if you had that done in advance, that would really shave down a bunch of time on what we did tonight. I also like to make the marinade in advance because I can then save some of it for the dish that I'm making that night, and even put the other half on a second set of meat. I buy my meat at Costco, so I like to buy it in bulk. So even with these pork tenderloins, I got 2 packages of 2 tenderloins each. So tonight we're making the 2 tenderloins for tonight's dinner and tomorrow, which used half of the marinade. Now if I planned ahead, I would have put the other half on the other meat, put it in a Ziploc bag, and threw it in the freezer with the marinade. Can you read any of those? I can't see that from here. Are there questions going on?
No,
or is it just, well, there were. That's okay. Or you want to just turn that around?
Flip.
No, come in. It's fine. Just turn it around now and I can read it from here.
Which rap artist do I like? Man, you can answer that.
Which ones do I like and which ones do you like?
I like. You already know.
Offset.
And the Migos, baby. Treyway. Yeah. The Migos.
I'm old school. I like 50 Cent the most.
I'm a big fan of Migos, as well as Lil Uzi Vert, and Little Skies. I really like them a lot, and of course X, rest in peace. But yeah, I really like his music as well. And Trippie Redd as well. If you all know who they are. I don't know. Oh, and DaBaby. Sorry. DaBaby. That is like my guy right now. You know that.
All right, so it's a hit. I know you love this meal. We make it all the time.
I'm almost finished this, yeah.
Are there any other last minute questions before we sign off?
Oh, yes, Drake.
Oh, yes. I love Drake too.
We love Drake. What did we make today?
Today we made roasted pork tenderloin with a ginger glaze marinade, and we did a ginger, garlic, sesame, steamed broccoli, and cucumber salad, and we served it with steamed jasmine rice.
With cider or applesauce?
I think pork and apples are great together, but I think it's a different flavor profile altogether.
Yeah.
If you wanted to add apples or applesauce instead of the honey, though, I think that would work. Sure. But I don't necessarily think of apples when I make this, but you could,
The
absolutely.
sweet chili goes so good
Actually,
with
you
it.
could slice up apples with the cucumber salad too. That might be really good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would do it. I would try it. We'll try it next time. What?
Is rice your go-to? Like, since you do
Yeah.
use a lot of rice.
I do use a lot of rice because we'll do potatoes or sweet potatoes
great
or
carb
rice.
for us right now.
I try to use unprocessed foods or the least processed foods as much as possible. So I avoid I avoid making pasta. I mean, we'll do it as a special occasion, but for the most part, I try to use whole grains instead of processed foods for
You
carbs.
just sit down and enjoy it slowly.
And
I'm a fast
the
eater.
reason why we do rice, I don't know, what came first, the chicken or the egg? I buy rice in these giant bags because we eat so much of it, but do we eat a lot of rice because I buy it in big bags, or do we buy it in big bags because we eat a lot of rice? I don't know. It's so much more expensive at the grocery store than Costco though, that ends up being what I buy.
Was that like a 30-pound bag?
But we also do roasted roasted sweet potatoes. I have a great spice mix for that. We'll do that one night. We do regular potatoes as well.
Done.
Do you want another plate?
Yeah.
Okay, help yourself.
Okay.
I'll sign off and say goodbye to everybody. Thank you all so much for taking time. Let me finish my swallow.
Take your time.
Thank you all so much for taking time out of your busy evening to spend a few minutes here with us. I hope you enjoyed all of the different dishes that we made, seeing how I overcame some of the mistakes that I made tonight, and how we juggle so many different dishes at the same time. If I can do it, you can do it too. Thank you for joining. Thank you to Marlon for joining us tonight. As you may know, Marlon is my son, the music producer, and if you'd like to hear his music, there will be a link in the video description to his YouTube channel
I've been
well.
inactive for a couple of days. Been working on some new stuff, but big things coming soon. Business is booming. You already know.
Have a great night, everybody. We'll be cooking live again Thursday evening, same time, same place, and it'll be Thursday night. So see you then. Bye.